Welcome to Drovers TV. I'm John Hamilton.
And I'm Terry Apostle. Drovers TV is the latest offering from Drovers, America's beef business source.
And we're here to bring you the latest cattle industry news and information.
Let's find out what's coming up on today's show.
Pfizer veterinarian Dale Grodelution discusses BVD control.
Nutritionist Dave McClellan outlines trends in cattle nutrition and offers a performance tip.
CSU meet scientist Keith Belk on beef safety and quality.
In our animal health segment, Dr. Dale Grodelution, a technical service veterinarian with Pfizer Animal Health, discusses BVD control.
Bovine viral diarrhea virus, BVD, affects really all phases of beef operations, the beef industry, cow, calf, stocker, backgrounder, and feedlot. And so I think it's really important to prevent this disease, hopefully at the cow-calf level, because that affects the entire industry.
Dr. Grodelution says controlling the disease involves several strategies, including biosecurity, preventing exposure within a herd, biocontainment, identifying and isolating persistently infected animals, and vaccination to reduce risk of infection. He stresses the role of testing to avoid introducing the disease to your herd.
Testing PI status of cattle that are coming into herds is very important, but I'd also add to that testing offspring of animals, of pregnant animals that move into herds is equally important, or maybe more important.
No one wants to find a PI calf in his or her herd, but if you do, Dr. Grodelution says it's important to respond in a way that will prevent further spread of the disease.
Persistently infected calves or animals are shed BVD virus throughout their entire life, so any animals they come in contact with become exposed to BVD virus. So how we handle these animals and how we dispose of them is very key. So isolation, going directly to slaughter are things that we need to do.
In today's expert tip, we hear from Dave McClellan, who operates McClellan Consulting Service, developing animal nutrition programs for feed yards across the Midwest and some large cow-calf operations. Most of his customers are people he describes as feeder farmers.
I've always made a distinction between a farmer feeder and what I call a feeder farmer. I really enjoy the feeder farmer, the guy who is passionate about being in the livestock business, and his farming complements what he does with his feeding operation rather than the other way around.
Dave says the emergence of the corn-based ethanol industry has fundamentally changed cattle feeding in the Midwest.
Byproducts have changed everything we do. I mean, it's just, that sounds a little broad stroke, but that's basically what's happened. The ruminant animal is the world's greatest recycling center. We can feed things to cattle that chickens and pigs don't do very well with. Our job the last 10 years or so has been to figure out how much of this can we use, where are the best economic returns at what level of use, and don't use so much that you get yourself in trouble.
This year's winter weather caused problems in many feed yards, but Dave notes one factor made a difference in how cattle performed and offers cattle feeders this tip.
Cattle that were not fed a beta agonist, the impact of the storm were probably 80 to 100 pounds light, and our yields are 60, 61. The cattle that we went ahead in spite of the storm and completed the regimen of the beta agonists, our yields are in the high 63s to low 65s. So in spite of being down some weight, which should help the market, we kept the yields together so the cattle dollared up better, and we more than paid for the investment of the beta agonists. So.
Dr. Keith Belk is a meat scientist at Colorado State University. He outlines some of the top research priorities in the areas of beef safety and beef quality in our food and consumer segment.
The industry is being forced to validate the intervention systems that they're using to decontaminate carcasses to ensure the safety of the product. And when I talk about the term validation in the context of the regulations, what this means is that today they have to prove that these systems work.
Dr. Belk also says researchers are working to stay ahead of emerging food safety issues before they cause problems for the industry.
Of specific interest, all of a sudden, to the beef industry is salmonella species that have become resistant to treatment with antibiotics. And so that is an evolving and developing issue that poses some serious threats to the industry. And so we're just initiating some work in that area to try and address those issues.
On the beef quality side, Dr. Belk says CSU researchers have worked for about 15 years on instrument grading, which is now becoming commonplace in the industry and has potential for further advancement.
Last year there were 12 major packing plants that were approved by USDA to begin using the instruments in their plants to grade carcasses. The benefit to cattlemen of doing that is that grading will be much more consistent from plant to plant and from shift to shift and from grader to grader now, and that at the end of the day should put money back in the cattleman's pocket.
Jeff Clausen and his family know a thing or two about ranch management. They operate 2 feedlots in Iowa with a capacity of about 3,000 head. The family also runs a farming operation, but Jeff clearly fits the definition of a feeder farmer that Dave McClellan mentioned earlier.
If we're headed out to the field to do some field work and we see something at the feedlot that's a sick steer or something, that's our priority. I mean, we are a feedlot and we use the crops, that resource, to make our operation better.
During these challenging times for cattle feeders, Jeff says he's made several adjustments to manage risk and make his business more efficient.
We've done more hedging than what we've done typically, you know, the prior, 3 or 4 years. And then we just try to be low cost on our feed ingredients. We feed ethanol byproducts. We have an abundant supply of those in southwest Iowa, and then we're also feeding some bakery waste from some Omaha bakeries, which has helped reduce our cost of gains.
Jeff is a member of the Cattlemen's Beef Board and also serves as chairman of NCBA's Beef Safety Committee. He has this to say about the importance of beef safety.
It's hard to build demand with beef safety, but if we are not diligent with beef safety, those recalls will erode demand very quickly.
David Macedo is the new president of the Livestock Marketing Association. He also operates a family-owned auction facility in Tulare County, California. His grandfather started the business, which has marketed cattle for area producers since 1939. David says livestock auctions and their customers face a number of challenges in the current environment.
Things that will affect the industry, I think, soon is the national ID system. Where is it headed? How will we respond? The consumer's asking more and more of the producer than ever before. And I'm always proud of production agriculture because I think we've always changed to meet the needs of the retailer.
David watches a lot of the cattle move through the market and sees firsthand what kinds of information add value at sale time.
Age and source verification is key in my industry with the light Holsteins. Absolutely key. Those guys are getting a premium now. Being able to give the background of their calf, days it was born, and vaccination history. It's huge. Moving on, my customers, as well as I believe across the United States, everybody is getting better on the residue side of their cull cows and their larger animals of withdrawals. We even have customers now that are putting animals in a pen for a period of 21 days before even considering shipping them off to make sure they were clear, even if the animal never received a shot.
Finally, David says this year's World Auctioneering Championship will take place June 17th through the 19th in Oklahoma City, helping the Oklahoma City Stockyards celebrate their 100th anniversary. And he treats us to some of his own auctioneering skills.
Before we wrap up, could we hear just a little bit of auctioneering?
Sure. On 85 minutes, 87 on 90.
Thanks for that great advice, David. I'm sure our viewers will find it very helpful.
And we love reading comments about the show, so if you have something you'd like to say or a story idea you want to see on Drovers TV, please post a message just below this player.
And we'll be back in 2 weeks with more of the industry information that you need. Until then, take care.